The first thing when you set up with smartphone, you're going to enter in, like he mentioned, and go into the dashboard. It's going to load here for me. Boom. And at this point, when you sign up, I think there's a code for SIFT users, REISift 30. When you sign up, you use that code. It's going to give you the option to click on REISift. You're going to merge and sync those two accounts. And then it's going to set you on this screen, okay? Once you get here, they have a really simple, I don't think it shows it on my screen no more, but there's a step 1, 2, 3, and 4. It's very simple. It's right on the top. Get your phone number, do this, do this, do this, okay? So it's setting it up from that perspective is very simple. I want to mention a few things I want to you guys that you'd want to do right away that most people don't realize it hinders them later down the road. And we've covered it in our help center, but I do want to show that as well. And the first one is going to your media manager and adding your code call callback message. So just making a callback message and making a drip cold call voicemail. Okay, this is for if you're going to be using Smart Dialer. And the reason why you need this is because if you do not have these here, Smart Dialer won't work, if I'm not mistaken. It doesn't even show that you have the capability to send from REISift to Smart Dialer without those two things. And we have received some response from that. There's something that we can do on our end. We have something there to say, hey, you're missing these two things. We're working with smartphone on this to say, hey, you're missing these, set these up, and then you could do it. However, that is something. So what is a callback message? This is if you're connecting with two people at the same time, if you have like a triple line dialer going on or something, or a double line dialer, and you connect with two people, the person who you get connected with first, you're going to speak with them. The person who you're not speaking with is going to get a message, and this could be something like, hey, sorry, I can't hear you very well. I'll call you back in a minute. And then it hangs up, right? It's something to tell them that you need to call them back. It's actually how it sounds. Another one, Jaime did this. He was like, hey, my mom's calling me, actually. Let me call you back in a minute, right? So make sure it's a message that's like something to where when you do call them back, because what happens is once you get off the phone with the person you're connected with, it's going to give you an option to click call back that person that received the callback message. And when you do that, you're going to want to start the conversation with, hey, so if they answer, hey, sorry, I don't know what was going on there. Thanks for picking the phone back up, and then moving on with your conversation, right? So don't do something silly that you're not going to be able to have as a consistent reasoning on why you hung up on them, because they may not necessarily like the fact that you hung up on them, but it's the kind of the name of the game when doing that. All right, the call voicemail drop is just as we were talking about earlier. You get connected to a voicemail. You can click a button. It just drops a voicemail that says, hey, I was calling about either a property. I necessarily don't like doing that. I just say, hey, this is Tyler. Give me a call back when you get a chance. Thanks. And then hang up. Like I don't talk about property. I don't talk about anything. I'm just trying to get the call back. All right. And I'm not going to cover the call flows and all that other kind of stuff with you guys right now. But their process is really simple when doing that. When you go to get a phone number, you're going to set up your call flow, and I'll just show you an example. I'll show an example. I'm just not going to show you how to do it. Okay. So you go to get a phone number, you purchase your phone number, and you're going to get, some numbers here. And when you do that, you have to set up a call flow. And I'm going to show you my personal one here. So if I click on here and I edit my call flow, all you're going to do is drag over on the left. This is just what I do. You guys can edit this and build it however you want. You're going to drag from the right side to the left side, the dial one. And this is that they're calling inbound. So it needs to dial you. Okay. And then you're going to say, hey, I wanted to dial user, Tyler Austin, and then choose your options here, record from the answer, whatever. And then you're going to drag over a voicemail. If you don't drag over voicemail, you're not going to get any voicemails. You're like, people are calling me, but I'm not receiving voicemails, because you got to drag over the voicemail option. And then once you drag that over, you're going to say user, and then, my Tyler Austin inbox. In addition to this, for your bulk dialing, if these phone numbers are associated with the campaigns you're using in your bulk dialer, Smart Dialer, I prefer that you create a team under your user management and then send these to a team inbox for cold call inbounds or direct mail inbounds. So for those other strategies, create different teams, which I'll show you that now. Okay. And so you're going to go over to your settings, go to your users, and then on the right-hand side, you can create these different teams. You can click add teams on the top, and create a team for inbound leads. You can call this direct mail inbound or whatever, and have separate people in there that are responsible for handling inbound direct mail, and then create your call flow specifically for those folders. Same thing with your inbound from cold calling. If you just do like those phone numbers and everybody has access to those phone numbers, then what's going to happen is, everybody's going to get notifications when inbound phone calls happen, and maybe you only want some people to receive inbound phone calls. And some companies have people going outbound and only people dedicated to inbound phone calls, period. And so you can use these team folders to handle that respectively. Okay. So that's a couple core things that I just wanted to cover when it comes to some settings things. As far as the REISift setup in general, you can see on the left-hand side, you have your API key here, which you'll use for some stuff that I'm not going to cover now. I'll show you where the help center articles are for that. This is something that we are adding when it comes to call status. This is for smartphone itself, not smart dialer. But call statuses here, we need to, this is something, Jordan, I don't know if we sent this in the message, but we need to create the default ones that are here right now. It comes with no defaults, but create the options for correct number, wrong number, dead number, DNC correct, no answer, no voicemail, no answer, left voicemail is the ones that I use. We will create some default ones here that will update phone numbers in REISift. It will not be able to update the property because when using smartphone, you're only calling the owner. There's no property address associated with that. And so we can only update the owner's numbers. We can't update, if you get a correct number and it's a lead, we don't know that. We don't know what if they have like 6 properties, right? Like smartphone doesn't know which of those properties needs to be updated as a lead. So that would be a manual thing, which in any other platform would be the case as well anyway. So unless it's a sole CRM where it only gets one number or something like that, or one address per owner. Okay, so there's that. Let me show you now how smartphone works inside of SIFT. So let me just log in really fast. You do want to use Chrome and you do want to have your extension. Make sure your drop-down option has your phone number that you want to use. You can use your inbox in here. Of course, REISift just launched our one-to-one SMS, which links with smartphone as well. And you can text back and forth there. Going into REISift though, let's just say I want to follow up with a lead. Let's do a lead follow-up together because I need to do this anyway. I'm going to go to my lead management board. It's one of the biggest use cases that you're going to use this for is for leads. You can also use it for niche prospecting. And in that scenario, actually, let me show that first. I'm going to go to some records that have not been called yet, maybe some probates. See if there is any in here. So there's 2 probates that haven't been called here. I can click on this record here and I can just click on each phone number and call them using smartphone. Let's just try that here. We'll just call one prospect and we'll call one lead. So that was a dead number. So I'll just mark that as a dead number in SIFT. And now, boom, that's done. I would continue to do that with those numbers and I would click on the next record and I would do it again. So that's one way to use smartphone as a prospecting tool for niche. New probates come in every single day. New foreclosures come in daily. You call through them manually. You send it, if it's a mobile number, send that text message through clicking the SMS button. This is actually a widget through the smartphone Chrome extension. If you'd rather, you can also select the phone number here in the drop-down options and send the text message through the one-to-one SMS tool inside of REISift, which you use is totally up to you. If you send it from here or there, it doesn't matter. It's all going to show up on this message board here, which I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so that's prospecting, right? Very simple, easy scenario there. So now leads. Leads is also just as simple, right? I have a task to do or whatever. I'm going to click on the lead. You can do this from the records page or whatever. I'm going to SIFT line just because I wanted to see the photo of it. And from here, you can see, again, here's my one-to-one SMS. You see he's never actually responded back to me through SMS, which is why I'm going to call him right now. And then you just click the phone number and you call him. And we're going to do this is a warm lead follow-up on whether it's in probate. I want to see what's going on. Actually, let me, you see, it's really simple. I just click on it and it's dialing. I want to show you guys what happens on the activity log. So I got a voicemail. Hey, how's it going? This is Tyler. We spoke, when was the last time we spoke? Maybe on the 24th or so. No, that's today. It was like the 17th. It was 17th of July. About how the probate process was going on 8 or 722 Newport Drive. So I was just giving you a call back. If you have a minute, give me a call back and we'll see kind of what's going on and see if you guys are ready to make the move on selling the property. I know we talked a little bit about numbers last time, but we didn't really get into the nitty gritty. And I think you might have had a second property as well. So just following up, man. Have a good rest of your week. If you need anything, send me a text message or give me a call later. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to complete my task, for my follow-up that was overdue. And I'm going to add a new task, and that was attempt 3. And these are all manual. You can customize these, create them however you want. And then I'm going to create that for attempt 4. And then it's going to show there. I'm going to leave it under my warm. You see, it's been warm for about 2 months now. Before that, it was cold for 2 months. Underneath message board, I can see all my notes. I can put something in there if I wanted to. And you notice, though, activity logs are really important. This is something that we really focus heavily on in the smartphone and smart dialer integration. And I can't express how amazing having the activity showing in REISift from smart dialer, from a bulk dialer, tracking every single dial that happens from a bulk campaign on an activity log is something that does not exist anywhere else in the marketplace. Like there's no other CRM combination tool that has this capability. And when I say that this is something that's drastically going to improve your KPIs, it would be an understatement. And I'll kind of express to you guys that in a little bit when I show Smart Dialer. And we're officially technically, I think when we were going to end, I think we're going to do an hour. Are you good? How long are you good for, Jordan?
I probably got another 30 minutes in me, and then I got to get back to the kids.
Okay, sounds good. So, I'll push it here. For everyone else, thank you guys for hanging out. So you can see the activity shows here. We've made the call, right? It's been tracked. You can see the text messages that we send gets tracked from smartphone, who did it, who it came back from, when the task was done, when I called them again, when the voicemail recording of the is there as well. We can close that. You can share that URL. It's one of the things that's annoying in some tools is like you'll share that URL to some other person and then they got to log into a smartphone account, but they don't have a smartphone account, then they can't get it. They eliminated that from being a problem. You can just share that audio recording to anybody and they can listen to the call. And so you can see all of that in one location, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, so now how does this relate to what we were talking about earlier with EBRs, right? Well, as of right now, I know that my last connected conversation was in July 17th. I can see this here. So if I get flagged for anything from this gentleman, I can be like, no, smartphone, look, July 17th, here's my voicemail recording. Boom, I'm good there. So I have 90 days from there, so I'm still in the green, right? And then as of right now, though, I'm on a clock. It's still ticking down. I haven't communicated with him again, right?
90 days. Sorry, Tyler, I just want to clarify for the call. 90 days from an inbound communication, not an outbound. Not an outbound, inbound. So by them communicating to you, they're starting the clock. Just because you've called them doesn't start the clock. It's them communicating to you.
Even if I spoke and communicated with them and they were happy about it?
For an EBR, if it's the technical is it's an inbound. So what I would do is I would always make sure at least make sure that you're getting them. Hey man, is it all right if I follow up? Just everything you can do on the call to try and get that. But technically, an EBR is from an inbound, and from that inbound, you usually have 90 days that you can follow up, and it's perfectly valid.
Okay. So that's really good. I didn't understand that properly then. So my direct mail comment earlier means even more than. So yeah, but in any case, I can see that information, right? If he called me inbound, I can see that information is all being tracked here really easily in a timeline fashion for you to, provide as evidence that you're doing what you need to do. So that's really big. And in addition to the difference on whether it was an SMS, if it was a voicemail, if it was a connected, if they ignored your phone call and all that good stuff, which is something that we do have. I don't know if we've officially released this yet, Jordan, or not, but I do know for everybody else that may not know is that if somebody ignores your phone call, we're now showing that as an activity. So if you call outbound to somebody and they click hang up, that's going to show up in REISift as owner ignored your phone call, right? Because That's big when you're following up with leads. Really, really big to know that they're actually ignoring your phone call versus the fact that you went to voicemail. Because sometimes you can go to voicemail and it's because they ignored you, not because you reached their voicemail. There's a difference between unanswered and ignoring you. And so it's really powerful information to see when doing lead follow-up. Okay, let's show Smart Dialer. So in Smart Dialer, I did an example yesterday when I was in Atlanta at a mastermind where I sent this stacked absentee August 2023 campaign over to Smart Dialer. And I'm just going to show an example of that scenario. So I can go in here and let's just say I want to do a campaign against stuff that's 2 or more stacked inside of REISift, or maybe, you know what? Let's not do that. Let's do this instead. Because we're talking about follow-up and EBR stuff and everything else. Let's focus on the statuses that are not interested. So we're going to do property status in REISift. I'm going to say, hey, they're not interested records. And in my account, I have 1,523 of these. And one of the users at SIFT just did a post about, by the way, Jordan, this is a success on your guys' side and our side. But more importantly, the user side is, I think they locked up 2 or 3 contracts or something like that. From just taking this, they hadn't had it implemented during SIFT Summit. They did this. They selected the records that are not interested, sent it to a bulk campaign inside of Smart Dialer, and called through all they're not interested in. They've already locked up contracts, which is really cool. In less than a week, not interested is converting over. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select these not interested. And remember earlier we talked about updating phone statuses and stuff like that. I'm going to show this real time in an actual campaign. But you see it's a correct number, a no answer, and a dead number on this record specifically. I only want to send this correct number. I don't want to send these other 2. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to select all those properties, send to integration, select Smart Dialer, and I'm going to uncheck the no status, and I'm only going to check correct numbers. So I only want to send my correct numbers of these records to Smart Dialer. I'm going to choose a campaign. I'm going to call Not Interested Q3 because we're about towards the end of Q3 here, and maybe every quarter you should follow up with all your not interested, right? So Not Interested Q3. And then I'm going to select my 2 numbers. This is one feedback that we did have from users. They'd really love to see the name associated with these phone numbers. So because other than memorizing numbers, like which one is for calling what, but we have that in our list to cover in our call later this week. So I'm going to choose just those 2, and I'll check inside of Smart Dial when we send it over. So now I'm going to choose campaign voicemail drop. I'm going to choose cold call voicemail drop. Campaign call message. I'm going to choose my callback message, and then I'm going to click next. And then I could add a tag here if I wanted to in SIFT review. And I just want to let you guys know this is 1,500 some records. It's going to be about it's going to be about 1,500 or 1,200 phone numbers, right? Because I'm only sending 1 phone number per. Send contract or contacts, and watch how quickly this goes over into smartphone. This is absolutely insane. Like there's no other integration that we have that's this quick when creating campaign. So there's not interested. Boom, it's there and it's importing. Let's see how quick it takes here to actually send over these 1,500 phone numbers. I know it's not a ton, but boom, they're already there, right? Like in other platforms, our activity log would be sitting a little bit. It is so fast. I've done 50,000 phone numbers, and within 2 minutes, that stuff's over here ready to start dialing. I mean, it's really quick. That's something that they did. They worked hard for us to make sure that we have that kind of speed. So really awesome. And so just like that, now I can literally start calling my not interested, and boom, right? I can start doing some of that follow up on those. What I do want to do before I start doing that, though, is I want to look at that campaign. And of course, this is people that have already, this isn't prospecting. This is just follow up, right? I'm going to click on my settings, and I just want to make sure that phone numbers. So I was right. The 2 phone numbers were the one. I don't have names on these 2 phone numbers. That's how I know that they're the ones for cold calling. I can change it to a single line, triple line, or up to 4 lines. For this, not interested, 1 line, 2 lines. It's only 1,500 numbers. It only take you a day to call through, 2 days to call through. I would not triple line or anything on not interested. But let's look at now how it works when you're using Smart Dialer for prospecting. So I'm going to go back to my campaigns using Smart Dialer here. And I've already sent these records over, okay? So your team members that are doing bulk dialing do not need access to SIFT, right? Unless they're working in SIFT, doing lead follow-up or doing niche prospecting in there in addition to bulk dialing. but they could just have access to this. They'd only see this campaign. They'd enter into it, which you can, by the way, how you restrict people in campaigns. I've had this question. Enter into the settings, go to permissions, and you can restrict who sees this actual campaign. Okay, so if you don't want prospectors in other countries, for example, calling not interested, you want someone local, like an acquisitions guys locally, then restrict the permissions down to just that individual. Okay. All right. So all I'm going to do is come in here. This is my stack campaign. And let me just filter by those records in SIFT. I don't have to do this. I could just search a phone number, but let's just make this this list real quick inside of SIFT as if I hadn't sent it yet. So I'm going to do count. This is going to be list stacking count 2 or more. And then we do parameters and others. I'm going to say, hey, it has phone numbers. And then, and it's an absentee list. I think that's what I said it was. Stack absentee August. So let's apply that. 563 records. And so we need to also do property status, do not include, and say, do not include all statuses. There's 2 types of dispositions out there, phone dispositions and property dispositions. If it's a phone disposition, it's going to be a correct number, wrong number, dead number, whatever. If it's a property disposition, that means you got a correct number, and now you need to update the property as interested or not interested. Okay. DNC is not a property disposition. I want to stress this. DNC is not a property disposition. It is a phone disposition. Just because you call a phone number associated with a property and they say, do not call me again, it's do not call that phone number. That does not, from my knowledge, Jordan may fix me on this, from my knowledge, that does not transfer over to another number that they own, unless that other number is on the DNC list, right? Legally. So update the phone number as a correct number, but DNC, because maybe that's just like the wife and or the husband, and they don't really want to talk about the crap because they don't normally talk about it. You know, every partnership has a dynamic, and then you call the next number and it's the husband or the wife, and they're totally okay to talk with you about the property, right? So don't disposition the whole property as DNC. Call the rest of the numbers, but mark that number as DNC. And then when you mark it out, you'll only send non-DNC numbers from SIFT to Smart Dialer, because there's 2 sides. There's the DNC national list, and there's your internal company DNC. You need to watch and build both. Okay, so I'm gonna click apply here, and then that's going to be 380. Okay, so all these properties right now are inside of this campaign. All right, so I click new call session, and I'm just going to click on start, and we're just going to dial some numbers real quick so I can show you guys what happens while it's dialing. I'm going to click start. And you're going to see in the top here, it's going to start saying calling, and it's calling all these numbers. It's not doing anything, can't hear anything right now. It's just doing its thing. You could, okay, I got a voicemail, so I can just click drop voicemail. Now it's voicemail's been dropped. And then I'm gonna click finalize call. And here's our dispositions. These are pre-built dispositions that I know are the ones that you need. Don't overcomplicate the rest. If you have a bunch of ones you're like, I want this, stop. Don't overcomplicate the business, okay? It's part of the problem, all right? These are the only ones you really need. Maybe if there's one that we get consistently and I realize, maybe that'd be a good use case, we could always add it, right? But I don't want to add things just willy-nilly, because then that makes the rest of the people that aren't complicating it annoyed, okay? So new lead, if it was a lead, is going to update an REISift as a new lead and a correct number, and so on and so forth. But this is going to be a follow-up later. They didn't answer the phone, okay? So I'm just going to click follow-up later. This does nothing at REISift. This just leaves it as a uncontacted number, and REISift is a no answer. However, I want to show you something. I want to go into REISift and grab the phone number to the person, which is right here. I'm going to show you something here inside of REISift. I'm going to finalize the call first and then click follow up later. Okay. And then it's not going to start dialing again until I click start dialing. Okay. So I can come over here. I can search this phone number. And here's the record that contains the phone number. If I open it up, notice, is that the number right there? 9001. It dialed this one number that has not been dialed yet. The rest of them are already dead numbers or a wrong number. If I click on my activity log, I can see that I received that voicemail from Smart Dialer. Here's where it was called. Here's when I sent that phone number. So I sent it on August 22nd, which was 2 days ago. Okay. And then I just called the number now and it was no answer again. Okay. And here's the campaign I sent it to. So you can see this real time. And the fact that we dialed the phone number in smart dialers on our activity log, I can't stress seriously, like the ability of what we're going to be able to do on our activity log from a KPI perspective for y'all is insane. Like when we launch in Q4, what we're working on, the ability and clarity in your marketing campaigns from the actual dial. There's no other platform that's bulk that you can just send records to and us know, did the platform actually dial the phone number? You don't know that. And you're not going to go through the logs in these other bulk dialers to try to figure that answer out either, right? But we know. Not only do we know that, but let's continue dialing really quick and try to get ourselves a failed number, okay? Try to get ourselves a failed number. So we're watching the calling, and we want to try to see failed or get a lead. I'll be okay with that too. No answers, no answers, no answers. And by the way, on average, it's about 100 dials you're going to get. For every 100 dials, you're going to get between 2 and 7 fully exhausted properties. This means that every number is dead or wrong number, okay? No answers. If I don't get one, we'll just, there's another voicemail, follow up later, do one more connection, whether it's failed, not failed, whatever. But this is it. That easy. I sent records over and I'm already calling them, doing my thing, another voicemail. Okay. So we're just going to rock with that, right? But all those KPIs are now on the activity log, right? We can see that information and it's also being tracked inside of smartphone on their, I'm going to just close session, close it out. And then you can go to their logs and you can see their information, the dispositions and everything else underneath their reports, right? But it's that simple. Select records in REISift, send them to the dialer and have them start calling it in real time. That information is coming back. If you get a new lead, you can make a sequence inside of REISift to then send that new lead to a SIF line board or add a task to that new lead. Whatever you want to do, it's fully customizable. And then, of course, the community has information in different ways that they think would be best to do that, right? But by far, in my opinion, this is like one of the best combinations that you could have. And for the cost of REISift, even if you went with the max plans in both products, like you're like right around $500 a month, right? For both of them. And you could run a whole business, both niche, lead management, and bulk dialing, like the whole gamut with 2 tools that are trusted and out to make your business the best that it can be from a compliance perspective, from an education perspective, and founders that actually understand what you're going through because we've been there, right? And so it's absolutely fantastic. I'm super excited for what's going on there. I want to show you guys where our Help Center articles are. I would say if you're a SIF user, the best place is definitely go to the Help Center first, read through those. Just go to Help Center, type smartphone, and then you're going to see setting up smartphone integration, one-to-one SMS, smart dialer outbound, smart dialer inbound. With the one-to-one SMS, I did have someone come up with this inside the chat or inside our Facebook group. You do need to get an API key from smartphone and paste it in your REISift account for that one-to-one SMS to work. If you don't, it's just going to continue being a failed message. So make sure that you have that API key entered so that you can send those SMSs out through the one-to-one integration. Okay.